There were others who were full-blown sociopaths and again, very consciously aware of the kind of manipulative, like, I mean, there's the guy you mentioned, Max Hardcore. What I was trying to do, because I'm playing a role in what's happening here. And so in a way, I have to remove myself in a way from kind of like that human instinct to immediately react to an abuser or an oppressor with violence. Um, and I have to be conscious that I'm playing a role in this. So I have to suspend that part of myself while also being present to the person I'm interviewing in order to extract from them a deeper understanding of their own psychology. And my strategy was, how do I get these guys to relive in the context of this interview what they want to see happen on a porn set? And the reason why that was important to me is because I'd seen so many of them give their pat answers. A lot of these people are used to being in front of the media. They have their sound bites, and but it's just a game that they play. It's their sound bites that they're used to giving. So we wanted to get past that and really to allow them to be who they are in the presence of the interview and on camera, so that our viewers could have a more deeply authentic connection with the reality of who these pornographers are and the content that they're trying to create. And so at one point in the interview, I would ask, so I asked this Max Hardcore to describe. I said, "Eh, help me understand what you want to see happen in a scene." So begins to go there in his mind, and this is the point at which the interview suddenly changed, and his eyes literally changed, and suddenly I can see he's there, and he's like reliving this, and he goes, "So she's on set, and she's shivering, and she's shaking, and describing kind of the buildup of this, how the intensity of the way that he approaches these scenes brings these girls to this point where they're like shivering and shaking and overwhelmed. And because he's mainly targeting people who've never done it before, because he wants them to be overwhelmed in the context of filming a scene and then to capture that on camera. And he goes, and then I just lay it on harder, and I lay it on harder, and I lay it on harder until they snap, until they're on a heap and a heap on the floor. And he goes, and that's the most beautiful thing in the world. And um, so I said to him, "You sound like a sociopath. Are you?" And he said, "Well," he said, "I don't know exactly what a sociopath is, but I'm a hardcore pornographer, and I didn't get here overnight. It's taken me 25 years to get to this point." He goes on describing, his pornography, and at one point I just said, "What you're describing sounds like a full-blown sexual assault." And then he laughed, and he was like, he like chuckled, and he was like, "Well, yeah, it's a full-blown ass fucking assault because that's what people want to see." So he is dialed into an audience of people whose minds have become so depraved by years of pornography use and consumption that the only thing left to bring them arousal is this more intense brand of pornography in which he can show young women having their innocence stripped away from them on camera and having their humanity completely fractured and destroyed, and then feed that as kind of the heady wine to this audience of people whose own conscience has been destroyed. So so he does a lot. He does a lot. So his videos are engineered from that perspective.